Rebooters! So happy to have you here with us tonight. It's very, very special. We are lined up, ready to welcome you. Please let us know that you're here. Say hello in the chat box. We have 54 people and counting. That's wonderful. For those of you who are new to the Reboot, we got our start back at Top Dog in Morro Bay, and this is what you're seeing behind us. It was a wonderful venue outdoors under the stars. And then with COVID, we had to migrate to a virtual theater. And this is where we are, and this is where we wish you were so that we could see your eyes. So happy to have everyone. Hello, Anne and Peggy and all the folks signing in. We can't see you, but we feel you, and it's so important that us creative theater people have someone, some platform to perform and people to perform for. So even though we can't see you, we can feel you in the chat box. We know you're out there, and these stories tonight are for you. I want to begin by acknowledging a loss of a patriot and a true hero, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It is with a heavy heart that we do this show tonight. We want to acknowledge her amazing legacy and promise to continue her work. And tonight the show will go on in her honor, and we will try to bring you some laughs, some respite from all the stuff that's going on out there. So, oh, Janice is here. Yay. And I see lots of folks. Oh, Mary and David in San Diego. Yes, be sure to say hello in the chat. I want to give you a little bit of background as people are coming in about the Reboot. We are like the moth. We tell true stories, but I always like to be a hybrid. We allow sketch and improv and spoken word, because if that's what the Reboot means. If it doesn't work, we try something new, we reboot the next month, and that's how we explore and innovate. So we tell true stories. This is not a comedy show. A lot of our stories are funny because life is funny, and it helps to laugh a lot with all the things that are going down, but we also tell gritty stories that are important to hear. I think most of our stories are light tonight, so hopefully that will give you some respite. Let's see, I think that there are about 5 minutes. You'll be out of here in about an hour. Our theme tonight is dirty work. So we have stories. Our storytellers are coming at this from all angles. Stories about the joy of dirt, getting dirty, doing dirty work that other people don't want to do, and stuff like that. So before we start, I'd like to introduce you to our wonderful storytellers this evening. Please turn on your cams. Yay, all right. So we have Michael Kaplan. You all know him. He's a mainstay at the Reboot, and Kader Abdi is joining us all the way from the Maryland, D.C. area. So happy to have you with us again, Kader. Kader, yes. And Jean Melter, another fabulous mainstay who's been with the Reboot since the beginning, and Justin Trebu, who told a story before. She at the Belonging event at Race Matters. We're so happy to have her with a revised version of that story this evening. Welcome, Justin. And Sylvia McClure, who's with the Central Coast Comedy Theater. And she's told two stories at the Reboot in past years. We're happy to have you back with us tonight. Sylvia and Alicia Klein. She is definitely a mainstay at the Reboot, and Slowlio, thank you for being with us all. Is that everybody? Everybody's here? Ernie and Dane, would you please just show your face? These are our wonderful tech guys. They'll be chatting with you and sharing some information in the chat box and helping me with screen shares and that sort of thing. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you. Okay. I think that's it, but I need a little bit of my, thank you, Justin. You can turn your cam. There we go. Okay. As I said, we tell stories, true stories, but I always like to root our theme in some kind of historical context. And so tonight, I am starting the evening with a classic children's tale that many of you, I am sure, know, The Pied Piper of Hamelin. But a lot of you don't know that this story is actually based on real events. You see, back in 1284, a real plague of rats took over the town of Hamelin in Lower Saxony, Germany. The rats were so big and fierce, they fought the dogs and bit the babies. They swarmed in the streets and burrowed into the houses. Mothers were afraid to go to sleep at night. Bands of rats darted through the rooms and scratched on the walls. Of course, the townsfolk put out traps, but nothing worked. They were at their wits' end when a curious fellow, dressed head to toe in red and yellow, appeared, promising to rid the town of rats. Desperate, the town council agreed to a sum, and with that, the piper pulled out his flute and started to play a mesmerizing tune, and instantly all the rats in the houses of Hamelin descended into the streets and followed the Pied Piper down into the river and drowned. When the Pied Piper demanded his money for a job well done, the mayor refused. In revenge, the piper took out his pipe again and this time played a tune that transfixed the children of Hamelin. They followed him out of the town, 134 children, out of the town, and were never seen again. Now, I'd say this is a really steep price to pay for a broken promise. They should have paid him. He was worth it. All right. That's setting the scene for the rest of our stories this evening. Our first storyteller, Michael, why don't you turn on your camera? Everybody knows Michael, needs no introduction. Michael's story tonight is Graveyard Shift. Take it away, Michael.
Thank you, Rachel. It's 2:15 in the morning, and my 3-month-old daughter, who when the sun is shining, is the most wonderful baby in the universe, she is crying uncontrollably. This has been going on for a couple of weeks. She's in the bed with me and my wife, and we are trying every trick in the book, nursing her and rocking her, singing to her, humming to her, and finally we decide, and when I say we, I mean the royal we, my wife decides that I'm going to take her out to the other room so that my wife can keep sleeping and I can just figure it out. So now I am holding the crying baby and I am going round and round the dining table, blazing a trail that in the months ahead will become a deep, noticeable groove like a NASCAR track. And I am rocking her and I am bouncing her. And in that moment, early in the wee hours, I'm looking for accompaniment, some kind of lullaby chant that's going to bring it all together. And I open my mouth, and out comes, hiya, hiya, little bitty baby, ho, ho, gotta go to sleep now, ho, ho, daddy's gonna rock you, ho, ho, everybody sleep, sleep. Two things become apparent. One is that my daughter has become completely silent, and the other is that I've become completely offensive. That by opening my mouth and singing without thinking, I have let my subconscious tiptoe through all the pop culture from my childhood, the movies and the TV shows full of abhorrent ethnic stereotypes, landing on Native Americans being turned into bloodthirsty Apaches, where they're doing their war dance and doing their war chant, hiya, 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 before they go careening down the cliff to wipe out the poor, unsuspecting settlers. Everything is wrong about this moment except for the quiet. So if I can just find a cultural pivot in a graceful way, we're going to be fine. Now, fortunately, I remember an Israeli folk dance when I used to have to go to other people's bar mitzvahs. I don't really remember the words, but I mean, the basic gist was, Maya, 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 hey, Isfaya, Maya, 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 hey, Isfaya. She's not putting up with it for a second. She knows that I've changed the channel, and she's starting to cry again. And I need to find that magic blend of melody and movement that is going to pacify her. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky. No, she booms that one. Bumping up and down in my little red wagon. Bumping up and down. She booms that one. Actually, I boom that one. There's no way I'm going to sing that piece of shit for 20 minutes straight. Shake it up, baby, twist and shout. She is screaming. My tiny, tiny daughter, she is like a ferocious throw pillow. And I've got to appease her. She's inconsolable unless she gets what she wants. And what she wants is, hiya, hiya, little bitty baby. Ho, ho, gotta go to sleep now. Hey, ho, daddy's gonna rock you. And she goes quiet again. It is such an uncomfortable moment in parenthood to realize you have a racist baby. And I've got to try and temper the moment, mitigate the message somehow. So I start to alter the words. Hiya, hiya, this is inappropriate. Ho, ho, daddy is an asshole. Ho, ho, never, never do this. But you know what? That becomes like the lullaby chant of white liberal guilt and self-loathing. I don't want that to be the childhood experience either. I clearly need help. And this is when my deus ex machina comes, because at that moment, a shaft of white light comes through the window. The moon is up and the moon is in position that I can take my daughter to the glass, and for the first time, she meets Mother Moon, and she is wide-eyed and fascinated and absolutely quiet. And She is lit by this beautiful white light. She is like an alabaster fairy baby. And we're there having this father-daughter moment in the moonlight. And at that point, there's only one blend of melody and movement that makes sense. Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. That's terrifying, but just work with me here. And down will come baby, cradle and all. And she's asleep. My daughter is asleep. Thank you, Moon. Good night, Moon. What the fuck am I supposed to do tomorrow night? I want to wish you all a happy Rosh Hashanah. Back to you, Rachel.
Michael, leave it to you to always do something new. I love it. That's what the Reboot's all about. Thank you. I loved your voice. That was wonderful. I see we have 71 people with us tonight, Colleen, and I want to send a special thank you to Cliff Carr, a rebooter who loves storytelling. He donated last month, and because of that, his donation is underwriting this webinar format tonight. So thank you, Cliff Carr. Thank you, Michael. We will now welcome our next storyteller, Alicia Klein. Lovely. Alicia is an actor and writer. She lives in Slough with her husband and twin boys, and she can write a book about mothering, the dirty work and the joy of mothering. I love your stories. Your story tonight is The Continuing Adventures of Bert and Bert.
Thanks, Rachel. So when you're pregnant with twins, the doctors call them baby A and baby B so that they don't get them mixed up throughout the pregnancy. And when my friend Julia learned this, she nicknamed our babies Albert and Bertrand, Bert and Bert for short. For the purposes of my stories tonight, I will be referring to my children as Bert and Bert to protect the identities of the not so innocent. And also because I'll be honest, I don't always remember who did what. Episode 1. ORD. Last summer, we took a trip to see some family in Wisconsin, and when we landed in Chicago Airport, I told my husband, you go pick up the rental car, I'll take the boys, get the luggage, pick us up outside a baggage claim. This will save us lots of time, I said. I realized my mistake the moment he was out of sight. These boys had been strapped into airplanes all day, and the moment they were free, they took off, running through the crowded airport. Stop! I yelled. You have to stay near me. Freeze! Which has never in the history of their lives ever worked once, and also does not work this time, so I take off running after them. I manage to catch up with one, throw him over my shoulder, but there's no way I'm going to catch the other with this extra 30 pounds. So I call out, someone stop that kid, grab him! And Bert runs right into a man who grabs him, and then thinks better of it, lets him go. It says to me, you got this? No, I don't got this. That's why I asked you to grab him. He sees the panic in my eyes and hears it in my voice and turns and walks away. His companion calls back over her shoulder, they're your kids. I say, thank you, and see a blur dash by. I lunge, trip, fall hard on my knee, but manage to tackle the boy on the way down. Now we're all on the floor. I've got one over my shoulder, one underneath me. We're all crying, and everyone in the airport just walks around. I don't blame them. I wouldn't stop for the crazy lady either. So I army crawl across the room, holding on to these two boys, and make it to the side of the room where there's a bench against the wall. I managed to get myself and both boys onto the bench. They're still trying to get away. I'm holding on tight. We all sit there crying for about 10 minutes till someone finally comes over and says, do you need help? I say, I just need to get to baggage claim. It's a man with his family. He has kids too. He understands. Episode 2, Newton's second law. So shortly after this trip, the boys started preschool, and it was glorious. 2 mornings a week, I got to drop them off and have 2.5 hours to myself. I can do a lot in 2.5 hours, or I can do absolutely nothing, which is even better. And when I picked them up that first day after school, teacher Denise said to me, "The boys were angelic today." Angelic? My kids? She said things like that a lot over the next few months. She was always telling me how well behaved they were and how they always wanted to help out. And I would think to myself, I'm so happy for you. You see, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And these boys must have been trying so hard to keep it together at school. By the time they got home to me, they had nothing left. They would melt down at the smallest provocation. Bert started this thing where anytime he was mad at me, he would pee on the floor on purpose. The whole house stank of piss. I mean, my boys had always been high energy, but now they were out of control. Once I closed the front door on them just so I could take a deep breath and try to calm down. They picked up PVC pipe from the yard and smashed the stained glass in the front door. Another time we were at a playground and I said it was time to go home. We had to get in the car. They climbed on top of the car and would not get down. I couldn't reach them up there. One time at a different playground, Bert whipped out his penis and peed on a little girl next to him. Peed on another human being. And that same day, his brother Bert smashed me in the head with a mason jar. I've had scissors thrown at my face, just missing my eye, and a tin can that split my eyebrow. I got 3 stitches. The best part about that was that I got to spend 2 hours at urgent care by myself. It was like a vacation. Episode 3, landscaping. So one day I walked out onto the porch to see what was happening in the front yard. I hadn't heard any fighting in a while, and that's usually a bad sign. The boys are over by the poinsettia tree. We used to have a poinsettia tree. It was as tall as the house. Well, they're both holding onto a branch above their head, jumping up and down, pulling on this branch until it snaps off. By the time I walked out, they already had 4 branches off the tree. The tree is half gone, and I am equal parts amazed and horrified. I know that I could yell at them and get them to stop, or I could go with it. I mean, the teamwork, the tenacity, they are literally changing the world. So I decide to lean in. I get out my camera and I record them as they tear off every single branch on that tree until there is nothing left but a stump. And I feel a strange sense of pride in their accomplishment. Epilogue. Raising kids is tough work. It's dirty work. Every day I lose my temper. Every day I yell, and every day I resolve again to try to lean in to those moments and find the amazement, the wonder, even in the midst of all the chaos and destruction. They're only young ones. I know. You're gonna miss these moments when they're gone. I know. The other day, Bert turned to me and said, "Mom, I'm really gonna miss you when you're dead." That was the sweetest thing he ever said to me. And I said, "I know." And we went back to playing with our Legos.
You deserve a medal. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Alicia. You deserve a medal. Whew. Hello, Cotter. Our next storyteller is Cotter Abdi. I must share with you, Cotter is a stand-up comedian and an improviser. We've been improvising together on Zoom. He is a former dental assistant turned data scientist. He's originally from Somalia, and he's been in the United States 10 years now. Cotter, of course, joins us from DC, and Cotter's story tonight is just keep doing what you're doing. Take it away, Cotter.
Thank you. We African kids know that in an African household, you have four choices of a career: a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or disgrace to the family. That's it. My African parents were no different. Very ambitious for their kids. And I can understand why. We left Somalia because of the civil war, and my parents wanted to provide the best life that they could for me and my siblings. And the only way they knew how to do so is by raising highly educated children. Also, African parents love to brag about their children's achievement. My daughter is a doctor. Yeah, my son is an engineer. Oh yeah? My son is #1 in the country, and so on and so forth. And I understand why. Having highly educated kids is like having a badge of honor. It says that they did a great job raising their kids. Now, only the top 1% of the nation makes it to a good college. And my father wanted me to be amongst these top 1%. Now, I was a good student. However, I always managed to get 1C, and it was always math. And that used to upset my father very, very much. He used to say, Kader, your attitude and your grades will land you a job as a janitor. Keep doing what you're doing, and you will end up cleaning bathrooms. Fast forward, I get to the United States. I was 21. I was very ambitious. I knew that this is the country of opportunity. This is where I can make my dreams become to a reality. Now, one problem: getting your first job in the United States is extremely hard because there is no local work history. After 6 months of looking for a job, being anxious, and just completely being stressed, I got my first job, a janitor at a local electronics store. I used to wake up at 4 a.m., get to work by 5, clean the floor, take the trash, and clean toilet. And one day, as I'm scrubbing the toilet, I hear my dad's voice. Kader, keep doing what you're doing, and you will end up cleaning toilet. But I like it. I'm making good money. You know, I have the rest of the day to go to school, and it's good. I appreciate my first janitor job so much because it taught me how to be humble, how to be disciplined, and how to be thankful. Most importantly, it taught me how to have a good work ethic. The money that I saved up from that job allowed me to obtain an X-ray certification, a dental X-ray certification, and that opened a new door of opportunity. I went from cleaning toilets to cleaning teeth. Same thing, opposite end, and it's all good.
Yay, Cutter! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution and being part of the reboot. Whew! Well done, Cutter. From cleaning toilets to cleaning teeth. Same thing, opposite ends. You're brilliant, Cotter. Yes, I want to say hello to Joanne from Santa Fe and Katie from Los Angeles and Colleen and folks from Cambria. We have 75 people with us tonight. This is a once in a moment, never come again, although there will be a recording. I'll post it. If you want to see it later, I'll post it on our Facebook page. I would like to share a little announcement. This is the the season finale of the reboot. I don't know if we're going to come back. There's so much uncertainty. I don't know about Zoom, if we'll have a live venue, but I do want to share with you. It doesn't mean that I will stop teaching storytelling or telling stories, and I want to share with the audience now a concept, an idea I had. If Ernie, if you would put that up on the screen share before our next storyteller. This is an idea I had. I just want to share with you, possibly in March or April, a one-time pop-up event. The Reboot presents COVID Stories, the Scream Inside Your Heart edition. I'm hoping to curate 19 stories and bits. By bits, I mean spoken word, song, sketch, mime. We're gonna, be a platform for it all, about laughter, loss, and the creative life in these pandemic times. We're going to feature all kinds of stories. I'll give you a moment to check out that text there. We're aiming to draw storytellers and creative folk from around the U.S. and beyond for a live performance on Zoom in March or April. And I may be hoping to perhaps write a grant and be able to pay the storytellers and really mount a special show. Just for a little background, the Scream Inside Your Heart theme comes from an iconic news item that I read about in Japan. The link there, Ernie put it in the chat if you want to check it out. It kind of explains the background story to the Scream Inside Your Heart theme. It really captures for me that deeply human need to live life out loud, to speak and say what is happening to us, even as COVID demands we tamp down and restrain. So that's my concept. If you know somebody who has an amazing story or you'd like to tell a story, Ernie will put the Reboot email in the chat, and you're also welcome to contact me via Facebook. I'm just exploring this idea. It gives me something creative to focus on and live for as we hunker down through the winter. So thank you for hearing that, and you can give me feedback on that later. I'd love to welcome our next storyteller. Justin is going to turn her camera on. Justin is coming. I know she's coming. There she is, and she's going to unmute herself. Justin Tribute is named after the iconic Justin Winery in Paso Robles. Her parents love wine, and she inherited that same love. Justin's extensive wine knowledge and her undaunted spirit means that she embodies the future of winemaking. Justin lives in Slow, and in the evenings you can find her enjoying the sunset over Bishop's Peak with a glass of wine and book in hand. Justin's story tonight is Therapy. Take it away, Justin.
In a lot of ways, I find the dirty work therapeutic. I've never been one to shy away from it. My parents could always count on me to change my baby brother's diaper when I was looking after him. I loved horseback riding at Kent Friendship in the back countries of Virginia, mucking the stables, feeding and grooming the horses. Another year in an Ironman competition, we had to mud run and dive through the shallow parts of a lake where it was all mucky. We called it the Lake Shoe Graveyard, and I definitely lost a few pairs of shoes there. Working with my hands, getting dirty, it clears my mind, makes me bounce, bring it on. And after earning a degree in wine and viticulture with the wine business concentration at Cal Poly, I worked as a cellar hand in New Zealand. For 119 days, I roamed my happy place, sometimes barefoot, up and down the dirt paths. It was my job to pick, taste, and sort through the berries, as well as dig out the tanks. And that was the best part. In 2017, I graduated. and I've been working in the wine industry for the past 5 years. You may have seen me pouring in the tasting room at Ancient Peaks Winery, but that's not all I do. I can also be found in the cellar at Lumen Wines. And on a typical day, I'm using a hot power washer, cleaning out fermenter bins, scrubbing on the insides, hosing them off, and then ozoning them. Other days, I'm emptying lees from the bottom of barrels during a process called racking. I flip them over and watch all this beautiful red and white sediment pour out, all this art from last year's vintage wash down the drains. To me, winemaking is an art. As a Black woman, I have customers and colleagues doubt my abilities and knowledge of this industry based not only on my color, but also my age. Also, people often underestimate my strength. I love to list things. Barrel work is my favorite. I like to get down and dirty. I just wish I didn't have to list every credential I have in order to be respected. I do have my goofy moments though, don't get me wrong. During my first year at Lumen Winery, I was moving some fermenter bins with the forklifts. They were stacked about 4 or 5 high. And right next to us was the Santa Maria County School Bus Depot. So I got one of the bins stuck on the fence and trying to pop it free. And I basically popped it a little bit too far, putting a dent in the hood of one of their school buses. Don't worry, there were no kids inside. And after a case and a half of wine, everything was okay. All in a day's work, right? You could say I really pour myself into my work, literally. Once, I fell feet first into a vat of fermenting grapes, sinking deep down into this sweet but deadly mixture. You see, during fermentation, the grapes emit carbon dioxide, so I had to be careful to hold my breath. I pushed off from the bottom of the fermenter, lifted up, hoisted my body out, covered head to toe in sticky purple juice, scraped grape skins in my hair and seeds in my ears. I showered, got back to work in those same clothes, now dyed pink. What a look. I love being a part of the land and seeing what I can do with this land. Wine is a luxury product, but it's also an agricultural product. And a lot of agriculture is dirty work. I, for one, am so thankful to all the farm workers, vineyard workers, field workers, and harvest workers for the dirty work that they do every day, what many won't do. You can't fully appreciate a glass of wine until you truly appreciate those who picked it, pressed it, and bottled it. A lot of my friends and family are now unemployed due to the pandemic, but I never lost my job. If anything, I'm working even more now than before COVID. So that's been a big adjustment for me. But I love what I do and I wouldn't change any part of it. So let's raise our glasses and toast in honor of all the essential workers and the beauty of dirty work. Woo-hoo.
Join us at home if you feel like it. We're toasting all the essential workers. Thank you, Jessen. Wonderful story.
Thank you.
Thank you, essential workers. And our next storyteller, I'm going to put down my wine. Our next storyteller is Sylvia McClure. Sylvia is originally from Switzerland. She's a voice actor, and you can hear her voice on apps and video games and tours, and phone menus. She told stories with us before, and we're very happy to have her back with us tonight. Sylvia's story is called Glamorous Hollywood. All yours, Sylvia.
Thanks, Rocky. When my husband and I lived in LA in the 90s, I decided I wanted to act. I wasn't one of those, I always wanted to act kind of person. I was we live in the entertainment capital of the world. Why not give it a shot kind of person? So I got an agent, I enrolled in acting classes, and I started doing background work. these are the people, it's called extra work too. And these are the people you see in the background. They're standing, walking, sitting. You're basically live furniture is what they call you. I got to play a bee in a carnival scene on Scrubs. I was Rory's hair and makeup person on an episode of the Gilmore Girls. And I was a president's daughter's Secret Service detail on the West Wing. Then there was The Good German. It was a huge cattle call for a movie that was a World War II type era with Kate Blanchett and George Clooney. Now, production had flown in wardrobe from Germany that was vintage and authentic. I was a washwoman. They had me in a washed out blue dress with little beige flowers on it, some gray apron, some super itchy wool shoes, and the ugliest, but thankfully most comfortable pair of shoes. My hair was braided a la Princess Leia style. They rolled it up on the side. They put up a old washed out bandana on my head, and of course, not a stitch of makeup whatsoever. Now, the director needed us for 4 days. It was a huge parade scene, and we caused a big traffic jam trying to get on the lot off of Cahuenga onto Universal Studios. Everybody's trying to make a 6 a.m. call time. So again, it was a parade scene for over 4 days in the summer in LA, in no shade, no breeze, on a dusty road. And because our wardrobe was vintage, they couldn't wash it. It would have been too time consuming as well. So the solution was Febreze. Now on day 2, we still smelled pretty good. Little Febreze, but mostly normal. On day 3, after standing in the same outfit, on the same spot, next to the same people, in the same sweltering LA heat, no amount of Febreze could cover up the aroma we exuded. We all smelled equally, and at that point, nobody cared anymore. Until the director appears right in front of our little group of 6 or 7 people. And next to him was George Clooney. And the director points in front of me, right by my feet, and he says, "George, that's your mark. That's where I want you to start." He was going to fight his way through the crowd trying to get to Kate Blanchett. No. That's not how I pictured I was going to meet George Clooney. I smell like I just been voted off Survivor in week 5. I look like Heidi, who's been chasing goats gone wild all over the Swiss Alps. My cheeks were blotchy, and my hair, which is normally golden blonde, was just dust colored. So George introduces himself to our little group right there, shakes our hand, and yes, he is as kind and as good looking as you expect him to be. So the director yells places, and George takes his right in front of me, like this far facing that way. That's where he is. "Girl, grab his ass." Oh, wait, what? Who said that? "Come on, do it." Okay, who's talking? No. You can't do it. You'll get fired. The voices in my head are having it out. "Girl, don't be a chicken. Oh, he's going to think it's so cute. When are you ever going to have the chance to grab the ass of the world's sexiest man? Come on, he'll flash his pearly whites at you and all be good." "Don't listen to her. You will get fired. Your ass is toast. It'll be curtains for you. Remember that time in Vegas when..." "No, I can't get into it right now, but don't do it." "Oh, come on. He'll think it's charming. He'll invite you to his air-conditioned cool trailer for a fresh glass of squeezed lemonade, and you'll just think it was just the funniest story ever." Don't do it. You will be fired. They're going to kick you off the lot at Universal. Every casting office in LA is going to blackball you as the Clooney butt grabber, and we are going to have to move to a flyover state and change our name. I don't remember how long that argument went on. I don't remember how many more takes we did. I remember it was a lot and it was hot. I didn't grab George's ass. I chickened out. Angel won this time. When I got home that night, I decided that was going to be my last extra job. If I was ever going to do a 4-day dirty job like that again, I wanted to have my own lines. I wanted to have my own air-conditioned trailer with fresh squeezed lemonade. I wanted to have a credit on my resume and my own personal bottle of Febreze.
Woo! Wonderful. You rock. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Whew, I love Febreze too. All right. We have one more storyteller, and then I'll be telling a story, and then we'll be closing the evening. Our next fabulous penultimate storyteller is Jean Melter. I know Jean is turning on her camera. There she is. Jean tells stories at Slowlio. She's had a one-woman show. You can, when you miss stories, you can get her audiobook where, there you go. 20 wonderful stories, Memoir of a Catholic Girl, wherever you get download your audiobooks. And Jean's story tonight is called Duck Me.
Thank you, Rocky.
Yes.
Between high school and college, I got a summer job at a kind of second-rate amusement park in the San Fernando Valley called Busch Gardens, which featured a brewery tour and boat rides on phony lakes and rivers, and a kind of a cheesy show with trained birds and carnival games. And then that's where I worked, at the carnival games, standing all day long in a wooden booth where it was about 100 degrees. So basically a sauna. And then shouting at passersby, "Step right up, folks," et cetera, et cetera. Well, one day I was assigned to fishing for ducks, a game I had never worked before. So I'll describe it. Picture it as just a shallow pool 5 feet across on a platform, and then floating in the pool are 30 small rubber ducks. And they're all identical, except for one duck has a gold star painted on its bottom. And then there's an underwater fan that makes it look like the ducks are swimming. Now, for a quarter, you give me a quarter, I put in my little pouch, I give you a net, and then you could fish out 3 ducks. And if you caught the duck with a gold star on its little bottom, then you won a prize, say a stuffed parrot or a beer mug. So on this day, a few groups came by. It wasn't a popular amusement park. Just a few groups came by, and over many hours, couples or families. And then a big group showed up. It looked like just one big family, a few generations, and they looked foreign and had accents. So I decided they were Greek. So a large man with a bushy mustache stepped up to my counter and bought turns for several children. And one by one, they tried their luck. And the whole family got excited when one of these kids took their turn, you know, when they leaned in to fish out a duck. And they'd all participate like, "Oh, that one, no, that one." And then they'd all kind of groan when the kid failed to turn up the winning duck, you know, "Oh." And this went on. The large Greek man kept buying turns for his family, and they kept not fishing out this winning duck, and eventually this man started to get pretty frustrated, and I began praying that the next duck would be the winning duck. the large man kept handing over money. I kept having over nets, and after a while, no one was having fun at all. We were all tense, and I was pouring sweat in my polyester uniform. And when the umpteenth child failed to capture the winning duck, this man just exploded. Like, what is going on? Where is the duck with a gold star? I do not believe there is a duck with a gold star in the pond. I believe you are cheating. You are cheating us. Well, I had no idea how to handle this situation. No, that's not true. I don't know why you haven't won. I want to see the ducks. Show me the ducks. He kept yelling at me with his family all backing him up. Let us see the ducks. I just stood there in that broiling hot booth just crying. And then suddenly the man just lunged across the counter and started grabbing ducks out of the moving water. And he grabbed 2 or 3 at a time until all 30 ducks lay on their sides, kind of wide-eyed and dripping wet on the counter. And none of them had a gold star on its bottom. And the man went apeshit, just screaming about how I cheated him out of all that money, asking over and over how I could do something so cruel to children. He didn't notice that I was whimpering like a child myself. Well, someone must have alerted management, because in a few minutes a woman showed up I'd never seen before. And she was a very stylish, good-looking blonde in a dress and high heels, nothing like the slovenly supervisors I usually dealt with. And she listened sympathetically to the irate, possibly Greek man, and refunded his money and handed out prizes and passes until the family was satisfied. And after they'd gone away, she gently asked me where the winning duck was. And I tearfully said, I didn't know. And we searched for it together. Well, on a shelf underneath the wood counter, we found a few extra ducks just lying around as if they were injured and couldn't play the game. And one of them had a gold star on its bottom. Well, I nearly collapsed. This woman, my boss, no doubt thought I was a sneaky, low-life thief. But see, I didn't know I was supposed to make sure the gold star duck was in the pond. No one had told me that. She asked me to follow her to her office. It was a tidy, portable type office, and a lot of it was taken up with this big cage full of those white birds with those yellow thingies on their heads, and they're squawking away as I sat on her couch and sobbed while she kind of perched on the edge of her desk with an amused little smile. It's over now. Try to calm down. You're not going to get fired. During my remaining weeks at Busch Gardens, I was assigned to a gift shop, which was air conditioned, chilly even. So basically, I was rewarded for being emotionally unstable. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Jean. Thank you for all your stories. Thank you. I'm going to reward you for being a wonderful storyteller. Okay, now it's my turn. I'm going to tell the last story, and then when we're done, I invite you all to stick around for a moment. The storytellers will come back online on camera, and you can chat with us, ask us any questions, and we'd love to hear from you. We'll stay on a little bit after the show. So, my story is called queen of the house. That winter in LA, it had rained for 10 days straight. The ground was soaked and the gutters torrential. I had just finished putting my 2 young sons into their warm beds and laid down contentedly in my own when I heard the flap snap of the plastic covering over the doggy door, which was in the utility room off the kitchen, which was right fronted my bedroom wall. But the dog was at the foot of my bed. I remember thinking in that groggy state, oh, stray cat or something come to get in out of the rain, nibble at the dog's bowl. I'm a nature girl, live and let live. And I went to sleep. Big mistake. Little did I know it was Adam and Eve, the progenitors of the great rat civilization that took hold in the dry walls of our ground floor unit. It was the start of an epic battle, mommy versus the vermin. At first, they left no telltale signs, but then we started to notice little droppings in the living room. This is my real living room when we lived in Culver City. And we also heard gnawing and scurrying in the walls. I fortified our home. Every night I closed the doggy door and I put steel wool in the crevices between the kitchen cabinets and the floorboards. But it was too late. They'd already established a beachhead and they were doing the force multiplier thing. You see, a female rat starts breeding at 5 weeks. And with only 21 days from conception to birth, 2 rats can produce 300 in just a few months. Now, during the day, they were silent, but at night, they created a hellish ruckus. Dark silhouettes skittering across the living room made the dog bark and her hackles stand up. They had the run of the living room and the kitchen when we went to bed. Worse, as their numbers grew, they started to fight each other. I'd be laying in bed and have to listen to screeching duels for dominance. I would have to pound my hand on the bedroom wall to make them scatter. And at night, my dreams were haunted by beady eyes and translucent ears. My sleep was punctuated by the thwack of the traps I spring-loaded with peanut butter and planted around the house. I'd get up early in the morning to remove the bodies before my boys came bouncing into the kitchen for Cheerios. I put poison pellets where the dog couldn't get them. These were designed to dehydrate the rats, so they'd leave the house and go looking for water. Great concept, but it didn't always work that way. One morning, I almost tripped over a big one, stopped dead in his tracks in the middle of my kitchen floor. My wonderful neighbor Jimmy, a grizzled Vietnam vet who was helping me dispose of that one, he was taken aback. Dang, Rachel, this one's bigger than the ones I seen in Nam. My months-long battle with the rats was really scary, but I had to put on a brave face for my kids. I told them we would win, and no rat would ever cross the line, which I painted actually used chalk, bright red chalk, on the carpet at the hallway door to our bedrooms, and they never did. I'll spare you the gross details because there were many. And fast forward to the day I knew I had to up my game. It was the moment a mother rat left 5 newborn pups in my silverware drawer. Oh, no, you didn't. I'm the only queen here, bitch. This is war. I was livid. I was freaked out. I jumped online and learned I had to plant a nuclear bomb of poison rat food in the center of their world so they'd all eat it at the same time, which meant going under the house where they all roamed freely. Moi? Go under the house where these rats are having orgies and turf wars? No friggin' way. So I called in the government troops, LA County Vector Control Unit, and they agreed to send someone out. And I assembled a monster cake bomb, certain that their representative would come in a full hazmat suit, prepared to penetrate their lair. Well, the next day, a lovely young woman arrives in a county government car, and she hands me her business card. Very impressive. A college degree in environmental sciences. But she looks like Vogue magazine's idea of a scientist. She's got a pressed white lab coat, pretty red lipstick, a mini skirt, and black high heels. No way she's going under the house. My heart sank. She empathized. She surveyed the situation and pronounced it dire, told me I needed a professional, and gave me a list. I called around and finally got one of the companies to set an appointment, and they promised to go under the house, and I promised to pay whatever sum they charged. On D-Day, they were a no-show. Turns out business was too good and they'd overbooked. The rain had caused city rats to invade so many houses in Culver City, I'd have to wait for another appointment. So there I am, facing down a breeding horde, 21-day gestation. Every 5 days they go in heat. Visions of rats striding upright through my kitchen, giving me the finger and breaching the boys' bedroom. This called for an action hero, or the Piper. But it was just me. That afternoon, with my eldest son in tow, I jerry-rigged my battle gear. One moment, please. Of course, I was totally prepared with my light and a mask, which I won't wear because I must tell the story. I got ready, got down on the gravel. Jesse handed me the gelatinous mass, and I prepared to advance into their dank underworld. Closer, deeper. Nothing moved. But I knew they were watching me. 2 more feet, I advanced and deposited the Death Star in the epicenter of their world. And then I beat a hasty retreat. Well, of course, not hasty, because I've got all this jerry-rigged stuff on me. But I made it out. For 7 days and 7 nights, we had to burn incense and run the ceiling fans. But then the smell of dying rat lifted, and our house was quiet again. I felt really triumphant. about my battle with the invaders. My kids were safe. Our nights were peaceful again. But you know, if that strange fellow, dressed head to toe in red and yellow, had come to my door and offered to do the job, I would have paid him double. That's my story. I'll invite everyone back on set. Woo! Lovely, lovely. Thank you, everyone. My virtual screens were stable. I'm so delighted. Thank you, everyone. We had 70 people through to the end. This is wonderful. We just love having you here. Thank you for giving us this platform to perform for you. Thank you, Lauren. If you have any questions for any of the storytellers, we're looking in the chat. We'll respond. I see George Clooney there, Sylvia. You finally got him, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Good move.
Yeah. Great stories, everyone. Farewell. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocky.
Thank you. They said our first. They're saying our first reboot. We loved it.
Okay.
Yeah. No rats. No more reboot. Well, we'll just wait and see. You know. You just guys, you did great. You brought your A game. The stories were great and made us laugh, and that's what we needed to do right now.
Rachel, thanks for figuring this out month to month and just making the space for us. It's really been great.
Yes.
Well, I hope you, put that in your pipe and smoke it about, the reboot COVID stories, and we'll just have fun with that. We'll see, I wish good health and strength to everyone and to all the rebooters who made 3 seasons. Hopefully, we'll be back someday at Top Dog, and everybody go vote. That's your work. Well, be sure to vote. Vote. And story on.
Great work.
Yes.
Thank you. I will post the recording, send the link, put it on my Facebook page so that you can download it. Because the stories tonight were worth downloading, really, really.
Also, thanks for the tech guys. We don't forget
Yes.
them.
Hey, all right. Ernie,
Sorry, guys.
come on.
Yeah, there it is.
Hi. Thank you for the screen shares and the chat and just being there with us. Beautiful. I'm going to finish this glass of wine and read the whole chat box transcript and enjoy the rest of the evening.
I want to say, I've always thought you were a very brave single mom, but this story, really, my esteem for you, taking on the rats, not one rat, but a colony.
I lost count at 60.
Yeah, that was pretty badass.
Badass, yes.
Mama's got to do what a mama's got to do.
Oh, God, I would have just moved.
We actually, it was a
What's going
four.
on with your current house?
No, this is in LA. It was a fourplex in Culver City, and my parents owned it, and I managed it. They were very elderly, so it was my job to make sure the rats didn't spread to the other tenants. It was just I contained it, but truly, it was a great story now.
Yeah.
And you know what? The other night, I heard something jump and rattle on the roof. And it was 3 raccoons. And I thought, oh my God, a sequel. They better not make a
Next season.
nest,
Yeah, so you have your material for next season.
Yeah.
Don't make Rocky angry.
Right, monster cake bomb. But I've run out of stories. I gotta live more life and come up with. I've run out, pretty much. You know.
Hey, Justin, I saw you tell your story back in the spring. I think that might have been the last live event I got to go to before it all locked down.
That's
I'm
right.
so glad you could join us tonight. That was great.
Thank you. I had so much fun joining y'all.
Right on.
Oh,
What a great image of you in the vat. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wild.
Yeah.
we have a representative from the Storytelling Association of California with us tonight, Miriam. And there's a lot of events storytelling events through them that they're hosting. So I'll post that on our Facebook page. Thank you for coming, Marian. And thank you, everybody.
Also, I could relate to Sylvia, the two voices in your head. I thought I was the only one who had voices in my head.
Me too.
It's funny, though. As a story coach, you know, my acting thing, like both you guys, I say, no, dialogue it, right?
Like, what do they sound like? You know, I'm just like, okay, well.
Fabulous. Yeah. Yeah, it really helps when you dialogue. And Jean, my goodness, you were just a teenager, right? That was a tough job.
Why do managers ask you to follow them to their office? That's something that I need to like pay attention. Like, why can't they just talk to you there? Like,
I
why
think
do?
because I was so hysterical, I was frightening any customers, or maybe the other employees, because I was so out of control with the crying and stuff. Like something truly terrible had just happened, because that's the kind of dramatic teenager.
Gene, I remember Busch Gardens growing up. That was so low rent.
I loved Busch Gardens.
Oh, you did? Okay. It was such a wannabe park, It was like Busch Gardens, then it was Knott's Berry Farm, and then it was all the real parks,
Oh, yeah.
Disneyland, Magic Mountain, could not compete.
Yeah.
Only drunks, because there was a brewery.
Right.
You are so brave for saying, because I would have just left. As soon as it got heated, I would have been like, okay, bye. It's not worth it. I'll see you later.
I don't think I could have gotten out of the booth.
Oh.
I think you kind of sat on it and then swung your legs over.
I'm just thanking folks here. And we still have 30 people hanging out. You're welcome to hang out with us. It's hard to say goodbye.
It is.
It is hard to say goodbye. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and I actually think Michael should sing for us because.
Come on, Drea Bocelli, please. Time to say goodbye.
We're still recording, so let's hurry it up.
You have a beautiful voice, Michael.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, I take my weekly lesson. Have any of you ever been in a situation on Zoom where the group sang Happy Birthday? It is the most awkward mess because, of course, nobody can.
Nightmare.
There is no bouncing ball to follow. I mean, and it is just such a train wreck every single time.
Yeah.
Well, I can relate to the rocking baby thing. I have a terrible voice, but they didn't care. I sang for all my babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a demanding one. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it, but I babysat for my cousin one time, and to keep the kid quiet, I had to show him a card trick. And then he liked it so much, and then I had to teach him how to do it, and then for the next 3 hours he was trying it on me, and I had to act surprised every single time. It was terrible.
I found with that amount of repetition involving really, really pedestrian activities that marijuana edibles were the way to go for a while until my wife uncovered my secret, but it got me through a couple of key years.
Yeah. I just wanted to say I bought a sound system. I don't know if I told you guys that. It's too hard to say goodbye. We have 24 people hanging out with us. Welcome, stay, hang out. I bought a sound system, a mic and a PA on wheels. That's only 25 pounds. So we could locally at some point meet in a park or organize some kind of, little storytelling open mic thing in a socially distanced, responsible way in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll have to fly you out, Cotter.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
please.
I also bought my sound system.
Yeah, tell
and
Cotter gonna do a comedy show.
Yes, I felt like I get the itch to see people, so I'm just gonna get my mic and my sound system and go to the park and try to tell jokes or stories, and let's see what happens.
But Cotter rented a winery space and is doing his own stand-up show in October in DC with about 20-25 people.
Nice.
We wish we could come, but it's
Send
live.
us the info. My family's back in DC.
Oh,
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like it's I will try just doing it live in front of people. Just get a mic, go to the park or go to the winery. Just there are some outdoor wine places. So just try and see what happens.
Yes.
Just saying yes to like opportunities. That's all.
That's a great
Cotter shared with me a video of him doing a set in front of an auditorium full of middle school students. And he had them laughing. He was
killed it.
so energetic and he was amazing. So this is a one to watch. Justin, you should just give him your email or contact
Yes, I will.
so he can, hit up your DC kin. Yeah. All right, guys. Tidelands, perfect spot. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We'll do something.
Let's take
Because
over.
having a project keeps me going.
Let's take over the Sunset Drive-In Theater for a night.
We'd be big on the screen, you mean, Michael? We'd be
No, just, audience in their cars, nice and safe, and one by one we go up on the stage.
That's cool. Where is it? Where's the Sunset Theater?
Sunset Drive-In? It's
you
off,
Madonna?
off of Prado Road.
Oh, okay.
Off of the freeway.
Yeah, right off the 101.
Wow, we could do that.
Yeah.
My husband had
what
his
did they
record
give us,
release
90?
party in a
Is that
parking
Southern?
lot. Oh, my husband had a record release party down in LA, and we're in a parking lot, and people got a ticket, so they got a parking spot, and the one next to it was for their chairs, and they could do, a little tailgating. So you were in your group, but you could still see other people, but you were, at least, 2 parking spots over.
Right,
We'll just
right.
fill the parking lot that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely become a thing now. Of course, given climate change, we no longer know when the rainy season will be. But it would be great to do an outside thing like that.
Except everybody would be in their cars, Michael, and we'd just hold our little umbrellas.
That's true.
But do you know, is there a contact person that you know, or just
No, you know what? In fact, my nonprofit has been looking at trying to do a fundraiser there. We can't get anybody to call us back right now. So, There's only the recording telling me what movie's playing. But one of these days, I'll get another person.
I think you got to go in person,
Right.
track somebody down.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I guess we'll call it an evening.
Well done, Rocky.
Thank you. I so appreciate your creative energies and pushing me, supporting me to do this, and we'll see each other again.
Rachel, you really got this down. You really did. It just,
Yeah, you do.
The last 2 were super smooth.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're awesome.
And the story, your story, I know you told it for the first time on Zoom, and usually that's awkward, but you absolutely nailed it. I loved every second of it.
By the way, he was my coach. I practiced it in front of him, and he helped me a lot. So.
Oh no, you didn't.
No, I'm the queen of this house, bitch. I forgot to say at the beginning, oh, you might, this is creative license, you might hear some words you don't, but I think everybody was adults, right?
Everybody
It was a great surprise.
I'd already dropped the F-bomb at the end of mine. You were fine. I put that bar down in the gutter already. But I mean, that was awfully clever the way you planted the Pied Piper for apparently no reason.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I love the way that came back
That
round.
was
So
a
kudos to you.
good
That was
call.
awesome.
That
Well,
was
I must
there.
thank you, and I must give credit to Curator Abdi because I was going to call it a prologue to my story.
Oh.
Stupid. And
Good
he
one,
said,
Carla.
no, don't say anything. They'll get it.
Surprise.
You know, and so it was just perfect.
I just sat there and thought, okay, well, Rachel's being random, fine, it's her gig, you know. And then, whoa, it came together. It's beautiful.
I've ever had a job that was dirty work, getting rid of rats. No,
Yeah.
I thought it fit.
It was awesome.
I didn't know there was going to be a callback though, so that was wonderful.
Full circle.
Every part of the Pied Piper story was a callback because, you know, it fought with the dogs and bit the babies, you know, my children, and mothers stayed up at night. And
Yeah.
so everything was, it was like, I have to tell that story at the beginning. But it was Cotter who said, don't tell them why.
Good one, Cotter.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, we help each other. My story this time and the last time was all, even my stand-up, most of it, like I run it by Rachel. We just always email each other, so it's a collaborative work.
Nice.
Well, it's a pleasure working with all of you. And your improvisers, Ernie and Dane. And Dane does stand-up comedy as well.
Oh.
In fact, Dane has a comedy writers group on Friday evenings. Cotter, you might be interested. You could just Zoom in and the comedians share their material and stuff.
Yeah, Ernie's been coming too. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey guys, I want to show off my t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait.
Wait, you disappeared.
Oh,
Disappeared in the
George
dark.
Clooney.
Where's Clooney?
He's
Why-
hogging the
okay.
spotlight
There's
again.
the shirt. It's from the Central Comedy.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Slow, we got your back. I love it.
I know, huh?
Yeah,
Hot off the presses. Just got it today.
beautiful. Dane, if Cotter wants to drop in, will you share the Zoom link?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you know, just a Friday, just for
Right,
stand-up comedians. You might enjoy that.
Have you email me his
Your mom.
email or something?
Okay, I'll share the emails.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Cool.
All right, guys, I'm going to finish this glass of wine.
You've earned it.
Yeah.
We've got 9 people who are still hanging out, listening to us talk. It's really, really sweet. I wish we could give them a voice.
Yeah, actually, the host, isn't there a way